What is up, guys, and happy Saturday. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Allie. On Instagram you can find me at Allie Pagley, and I'm so excited today to be showing you the interview that I did with Mignon Francois. She is the owner of the Cupcake Collection in Nashville, Tennessee, and in New Orleans she has a shop there as well. And we're going to be talking everything about business, about joy, about God, about leadership, and just how she started her journey and where she is today. So I hope you guys take something away from this interview and enjoy the interview.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to introduce you to Mignon Francois, who is the owner of the Cupcake Collection. Mignon, thank you so much for joining me today. So I wanted to start out by really basically just asking you, what is your age and what is your business?
I am 46 years old, and I just had a birthday on July 4th.
Happy birthday.
And thank you. And I own the Cupcake Collection.
So you are located where?
So I am located in Nashville, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana.
Awesome. So you are a full-time it's a bakery. And so tell me a little bit about how you started like, how did you get the inspiration for this bakery?
Hunger,
Really?
brokenness,
Yeah.
tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
I was listening to Dave Ramsey, and I love talk radio, and he was new to the area, and he was telling people you could get out of debt if you had a garage sale or a bake sale, and I wanted that. And they were calling the radio screaming, "We're debt free," and I wanted what they were screaming about.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'll have a bake sale every single day. And the one problem was that I didn't know how to bake, not even out of a box. But I like to tell people it was like this. Rap lyrics changed my life. I always felt like if what makes them so much more special than me, that they should have something in abundance, and I don't even have the bare necessity. And so I was listening to a Kanye West and Jay-Z song that said, it was called Otis. And it said, they didn't see me because I pulled up in my other bins. Last week I pulled up in my other bins. And I thought, wow, God, he has options and they're luxurious. Why don't I have lights or running water?
Yeah.
And I felt God say, are you willing to do what he puts in to get what he has? And I just knew at that point that work was required of me.
That's amazing, especially because you were not a baker. That wasn't like your initial passion in life, that I'm going to be a baker one day.
Yeah. I think I've always been passionate about making money.
Okay.
When I was
people are afraid of saying that.
Young,
People are afraid of saying that I have a passion to make money.
yeah, I think when I was a little girl, I loved to play bank. And I would cut paper and make money out of it to play bank. I've always wanted to be the branch manager. So I didn't even like really being in the kitchen, I really didn't like, I didn't really like cooking and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I think that God has a way of humbling you. There's a song we used to sing when we were little, humble me so I can do thy will. And I think that's what happened to me. God humbled me so I could follow his will for my life. And when I humbled myself and realized that no one's better than another person, that we're all in this together, that, we all are people.
Mm-hmm.
And to be concerned over people became my passion, especially as I work in a service industry. and watching how people just disregard service providers as if just because I'm not a doctor or a lawyer,
Yeah.
you would think that that means that I don't deserve to have, the same level of respect. And people don't know what I've been through. They don't know the kinds of degrees I have, what I've accomplished in my life just because you see me standing behind a counter.
Hmm.
Don't discount me.
Yeah. Because it's very um, at face value. What do you see? You see someone working with their hands, not necessarily their brain or what degree they have. Again, not
Mhm.
knowing they don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
But God really does humble people in unlikely ways that we may not want, but I mean, it turned out good for you. And I think,
Uh-huh.
it's so important for people, especially women um, to not discount or throw away that nudge, because that is a nudge from God. That is a conviction that, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you're not doing something enough of what He's calling you to do, because He calls us to be really, really just big. We are
Mhm.
called to be so much bigger than what we are taught to be in this world.
Mhm.
We're we're looked down on because we're women, or because we're people of color, or by
Mhm.
how we look, and that gets into our brains, and it really, really makes us feel like we can't do something.
Mhm.
Um, so I love that. That's amazing.
Mhm.
So my next kind of going into my next question, how okay, so you went from the bake sales to opening up your own shop. What kind of measures did you use to scale it? Did you use specific marketing tactics, or how did you do that?
I love questions like this because what I want people to know is I flew by the seat of my pants. And I think that there is something to be said for flying by the seat of your pants. I mean, I think that people want everything just to be so perfectly and say, "Oh, I deployed this mission or this strategy," and I really just got up every day and I asked God before I put my feet on the floor. I say, "God, what are we doing today?" And I ask him a question and I fully expect to get an answer before the day is over. And I just follow my spirit into everything that I do. I didn't know that. I didn't know that this whole thing that I was going to feed me, and it was going to lead people into
Mhm.
the thing that they also could do. Just believe. I just was tired of being sick and tired. I was just tired of being hungry. And I thought if I baked it, that I could run into enough people to come and eat it. And then they started standing in lines and then they started telling me what to do. I feel like if you just show up to the party, somebody's going to ask you to dance.
I love that. People are going to tell you what they want, because you don't know what they
Yeah.
want until they ask you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So, I mean, as you are, getting out there and doing your thing, you might not be doing it all right. You might not have everything in place. You might not have your logo. You might not have your branding. You might not have your marketing message. Might not know your unique sales proposition. You don't have to know all those things. They will come. You've heard that saying, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And I am the prime example that says you don't have to have a degree, you don't have to have a lot of knowledge, you don't have to have a whole bunch of experience in the business. All you have to do is go in the direction of obedience to what God has dropped in your heart to say, this is your unique proposition to the world. Just do that and wake up and do just that one thing. What I love, one personality that I love to follow, his name is Bob Goff. And Bob Goff wrote a book. Do you know Bob
Yeah.
Goff? Wrote a book called Love Does. And Bob Goff makes everybody feel like they are so important and special. I had just learned about Bob Goff and I walked up to him And I said, "Oh, my manager is so excited to meet you. I just learned about you." And, she says, "Oh my gosh, Bob Goff." And he says, "But what's your name?" And I said, "My name's Mignon." And he said, "Oh, and all I got was Bob." He said, "I've been shortchanged." He said, "All my parents gave me was Bob." And what he teaches is that, like, you don't have to quote a whole bunch of Bible scriptures, and you don't have to know the whole Bible. He's like, just pick one and do that
Yeah.
and go be that to people. What we've been talking about at the Cupcake Collection is being a good neighbor. And one thing that a tornado will teach you is that what's happening next door is your business. You think it doesn't matter what's happening with your neighbor. You think that's their business. You mind your business, I'll mind mine. But what I've learned is that through having a tornado hit me, that their business is my business.
Mm-hmm.
And that because when a tree from your neighbor's yard lands in your yard, it's your responsibility to clean it up.
Yeah.
No matter if that tree had been leaning the whole time, if it was encroaching on your roof, it doesn't matter. It's now your responsibility to clean up your neighbor's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is not your problem. And what we have learned is that being a good neighbor means caring for people who might not have what you have, who might not look like you look, who might not have the experience that you have. And so for us, that's been that's been the thing. Like, our neighbor helped us when we couldn't open our store. Our neighbor helped us when we were down for 10 days and couldn't operate.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the things that are driving us.
That's amazing, because I think people also are afraid of asking for help. And we're so willing to lend a hand, right? For the most part, we think, okay, yeah, I can help you, but they're too prideful to ask for that help because they don't know. Not everyone went to school for business, and they don't know how to do the books or bake a cake. So
Yeah.
you ask for the help from people, and you'd be surprised about how many people are actually willing to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. That's a really great, and you teach that to the people that you work with. It's
Mm-hmm.
a great philosophy to live by. What tool? So you didn't go to school. So we're going to shift into kind of
Well,
talking.
I went to school. I just didn't go to school for baking.
Okay. So do you have any? Did you take any classes while you were growing this bakery to, like, for baking, or certifications on accounting or bookkeeping or anything like that?
I love to say that I got my degree from the School of Hard Knocks, and it definitely comes at a higher price than just getting one from an accredited university. I'm now working in my spare time on an MBA from Lipscomb University, but I got to take it so slow because I'm so busy doing what you go to college to get an MBA for.
Yes. Yeah.
But one of the things that I feel like really shifted the game for me was when I went through the Catalyst program as a part of the Entrepreneur Center here in Nashville.
Mhm.
And it's part of the Entrepreneur Organization. And that's a worldwide organization. And the goal is to help you to scale your business up. What I learned is to not be afraid to raise my hand and say, I don't know what that means.
Uh-huh.
While everyone else in the room knew what some of those things were, I didn't. And so that was a game changer for me. And so what I did, I got out of there because basically it told me about how to work on my business, not in my business. It taught me some of the things that I needed to learn about business. And so I think that was the greatest. It wasn't like a certificate program per se,
Mhm.
but it was everything that I needed. So you have to have made $250,000 to qualify for this program, But then after you finish it, it's sort of like when you get done, you're automatically going to reach 1 million. So you have to have some skin in the game, but they have programs that require, less earnings that you can do first. Um, and so if as you can like climb that ladder. But when I first got invited to go to the program and I applied, I was just so floored that I would even be considered. And you know, I'm just it was a game changer for me. It was like getting an MBA from the School of Hard Knocks. I mean, that's the best way that I could describe it. Anything that you might not know. I was in there with Owen Business School graduates. I was in there with people who had all kinds of major business degrees and experiences and had opened businesses and sold them and scaled them and all of that kind of stuff. And they were right there rubbing elbows with me.
So would you say then that if someone was just starting out, would you recommend something like this, even if they had $0 in their business, but something similar like that? Would you recommend something like that, or would you recommend the whole what you did, which was the
Oh
start
yeah.
winging it?
Oh yeah. So I give my spare time is to the Entrepreneur Center as a member of the advisory board. And then I serve as a mentor also to people who are building and scaling businesses. It is my dream that Nashville will be the entrepreneurial hub of the country. That you come to Nashville because you want to start a business, because you don't necessarily know where to start, and you're scrappy, and you just want to, become because you believe in yourself. I also serve at the Women's Business Center at Pathways to Lending, which sort of takes, people from anywhere from an idea all the way into teaching them accounting and showing them how to do their books and, you know, teaching them some of the necessities of filing taxes and being an employer and having employees and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I love about being in this community is that now I get to be a part of the conversation that builds it from here.
That's amazing because now you're able to share what you learned and give it back to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll write those links in the bottom as well for anyone. So thank you for those names.
Yes.
So next question, what is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
That the power of life and death lie in my tongue. That if I said it, I could have it. I had to really believe it. I wish that I had known that the idea wasn't mine in the first place, that God gave it to me, asked me to hold it and take care of it, but that it wouldn't be easy, that if it were easy, that everybody would have it, and that it would take a lot of hard work. And just when you feel like giving up, that you know, you might just win. I want people to know that an overnight success takes 10 years. I want people to know that the people who are successful are still struggling. Their struggles are just different from yours. Yours are much smaller right now, but as you grow your business, your struggles don't go away. They just change. They get new faces and new names. They grow bigger personalities. And I wish that I could have told myself that I had it all along. I wish that I could told myself the voice inside of my head that was telling me I couldn't was a liar. But that little small voice on the inside of me that was telling me I was good enough, that I deserved to be there, that I was smart, that my ideas were good, that my ideas were even great, and that people really did want to hear what I had to say. Those were the things that were the truth. That's what I wish I could tell myself, I had known or I could tell myself.
Do you think you would be further along if you had listened to yourself then?
Yeah, because I always had business ideas. I always had business ideas. I was kind of encouraged as a child to stick to something, but I learned in my life that sticking to something wasn't what God asked me to do. Ideation was a gift. that I come up with all these ideas I learned at the Entrepreneur Center here in Nashville in that Catalyst program. That having ideas is a gift, it's not a curse. You're not scatterbrained. You are an idea person. And I would just, I wish I had known then that I couldn't share my ideas with everybody, that everybody wasn't going to understand me, that I wasn't weird, that in fact I was unique, that I wasn't a unicorn, but in fact I was different, and that I could have what all these other people had. All I had to do was apply the work to it.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love that answer. Couldn't have said it any better. So now we're going to get to the question on CEOs. So who is a CEO that you are following right now, and why?
So when you say following, do you mean like on social media, or do you mean like in life?
In life, that you look up to, that you are constantly reading what the content that they're giving out, their messages.
So there are several that I love. Um, but if I could pick one, I don't know that she has any messages that are, sort of going out, but I would say it's a Genia Clark. She is the head of the Girl Scouts of Middle Tennessee. She's beautiful, even striking, and she's so smart. I feel like when she enters the room, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do you have to teach me today? There's so many that I can pick, but I was in New Orleans one day and I walked into the food museum and the Southern Food Museum, and there was a picture of a Genia and several other women here that are celebrated in Nashville. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to pull out my camera and do a whole video on it because she teaches me so much about poise and grace. And sort of like speaking without talking very loudly. She makes a presence when she comes to the room. If she heard me say all these things, she'd say, "Oh my gosh, Mignon, really?" She'd probably say that because I just admire her and her accomplishments. But if I would say one that you might know, I might say Jenny Britton Bauer. How we talked about how she dreamed as a little girl,
Mhm.
and we sort of shared that whole dreamer legacy. She's come up with these amazing ice creams. Have you heard of Jenny's ice cream?
I think so.
Well, Jenny Britton Bauer is the creator of Jenny's ice cream.
Okay.
And I was thinking about Jenny recently, how she overcame such a huge obstacle and bounced back with her company even greater. She's somebody that I love the kind of flavors that they make, and they seem to pop an ice cream shop anywhere in the country, and it becomes successful. And now you see it, and it's in Publix grocery store in the freezer section when you go, and Jenny's ice cream could be delivered right to your door. And I just love what they're doing. One of the things I look up to so much is like after you've worked in her company for so many years, you get 30 days of vacation. They like kick you out and make you go off away and just live it up for a little while and just like grow and bring that back to the table. Like we always like to encourage our team to go and travel and go discover things and bring that back to the table. So that's somebody that I love. Jordan Rayner. He's the one that taught me. He wrote a book called Call to Create. He's the one that taught me about the fact that God is the first and ultimate entrepreneur, and he led us by example as to the way that he wanted us to do it, and that entrepreneurship is a blessing, from God. And so he's one that I absolutely love. There are so many of
There
them.
are, and they all bring something different to the table. I love the first one that you mentioned. I'm going to look her up because
Mhm.
just again, us women, at least for me, I'm a very soft spoken person. and that's looked down upon. But I think once you learn to have that poise and grace that you were talking about, that she embodies, and learn
Mm-hmm.
how to carry yourself with that grace, that some people think that they need to have a loud voice to be heard, but you don't.
Uh-huh.
And I think women forget that, and they have to be like men and loud and boastful to be something, or to have that respect, and you don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. And I'm gonna look up the third one that you mentioned, because I love that. God is the first entrepreneur. I want to put it
Yeah.
on my wall somewhere. That's cool. Is there any podcast or book recommendations that you have?
One book that I love and I love to recommend it is called The Success Principles: How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. I believe it was the book that changed everything for me. It took me 3 years to read it.
Mhm.
And that was reading it actively and stopping to read, and do the activities along the way. It's by a New York Times bestselling author, Jack Canfield. And what it taught me was how to create a mission statement for my own life. It helped me to find the purpose that I was placed here for. And that was to bring joy. And that if you ever experience me and I haven't brought you joy, you haven't left feeling joy, then I failed at my personal mission for the day. A mission that would take me all of my life in order to obtain it and to reach it, to leave the world a happier place because I was here. Um, and so that's one book I feel like I've recommended the most of any books.
Mhm.
Um, but I just finished another book that I am loving, and I think um, I'm going to be recommending it a lot, and it's called The Happiness Advantage. And I forgot the author's last name. His first name is Sean, but he's a professor at Harvard,
Mhm.
and they actually teach this book in a happiness course at Harvard. And it basically talks about positive psychology. And it says that you don't get things to become happy, you get things because you're happy. And I'm happy because I'm happy.
Yes.
I've learned to let my happiness belong to me and be my responsibility. I let people be who they are, and I'm going to be who I am. And you can, when I was like, you're making me mad. No one can make you mad. It's a choice.
I
You
love
choose to be mad, or you choose to be angry, or you choose to respond.
that. Mhm.
Um, and so that's one of the things that I recently decided to do, was that I'm always about joy. And I really, really, really wanted to be intentional about studying the science of joy.
Do you think that joy has helped you in your business?
Definitely, because when people see me, they get happy.
Yeah.
If
They
they
want
were
to come
feeling
back.
sad, huh?
They want to come back.
Yeah, my people see me and they feel like they know me. They feel like they're a part of my family. They feel like they're a part of what we're doing, and that's the joy that I get to have.
I love that so much. It's makes me think of that kid song, "Got the joy, joy, joy,
Down in my heart.
joy." All right. What is one piece of advice you'd give to our audience, or a woman listening that's either she's just started, she hasn't started yet, but she's thinking about it?
Yeah. I don't, if I could only have one, I would say, oh my gosh, this is so hard because I really want to give you two.
All right,
I
we'll
want
do
to give
two.
you
I'll let
two.
it slide.
I want to say, speak what you seek until you see what you said. So I'll say it again. Speak what you seek until you see what you've said. These ideas that are on the inside of you that are telling you that this is what you should create
Mhm.
are not your own. God has dropped them to you, and He's asking you to collaborate with Him to create something special, to make something amazing together with Him. And He says He'll never leave us alone or never ask us to do anything that's too hard. And so when we believe that and understand that it's not ours, we treat it differently. And so when you know that you're on assignment to create something, you can do it harder. And I think without the possibility of failure, because you know that God gave it to you and you're not doing it alone. What I want to say is that a lot of times we think that we're failing, but actually there are no mistakes. They are all little successes. You never knew the whole plan anyway. So you thought that you were doing the way that you were supposed to do. You thought your plan was the one you were supposed to follow, but God had another plan for you all along. So that's one thing I want people to know is there are no mistakes. They're just necessary. They're necessary ingredients to get you from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And then the other thing I would want to tell people is own your now. The only thing you own are the moments that you're in. That now faith means that you get up right now, even if you don't have all of the experience. You get up right now, even though you don't have all of the money that you need. You get up right now and you start where you are to get where you want to be. You've heard it said that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Just start going and you'll find that everything falls into place. What I want people to know is that when I started my business, I thought I need a commercial refrigerator, I need a commercial stove, I need commercial mixers, I need bags printed with my name on them. And what I've learned after 12 years in business is I've still never had bags with my name printed on them. That those were ways that I could offer my customers an affordable way to obtain the product, and that they would take the message to the masses that this is the place that you want to go, and that it was a treasure for them to find. We eventually learned that we could take a stamp and put it on ink and stamp those bags just the same. But in the end, what people wanted was the product and they wanted to be able to afford it. I want people to know that I opened that business with a dorm-sized refrigerator and a KitchenAid mixer because that's what I could afford. And that's what would pass code. And that's what the health department said was good enough. And I opened that business because that's what I could afford to do it, the way that I could afford to do it. And I wish that people would know that they don't have to get in lots of debt to open up businesses, that you will be able to sleep at night when the things that you have in your business belong to you and no one's going to take them from you. And you would take bigger risks when you know that you're not going to be owing somebody tomorrow just because you did it. So I learned to live within my means. And I learned to only operate within my means. I was telling someone earlier today, even my team, I'm not even in debt to my team. They get paid every week. And what I've learned in that is that it has helped to spearhead some of the things that they wanted to do and some of the things that they were afraid of that they didn't know they can do or how they were going to get through financially. It's so much easier for you to have to get to the end of the week when you know that a financial change is going to happen within 6 days instead of 14.
Yeah.
And so being a woman that's come from debt and brokenness and lack and not enough, I want it to be a place that my team could have refuge to become whatever it is they wanted to do and have a support system and to be able to afford to just to live their life.
I love, everything you said was so good. The first advice that you gave about seek what you speak.
Speak what you seek till you see what you said.
Yeah, that's so good.
It basically is say what you're looking for until it comes to pass.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the Bible verse, so what he speaks in his heart, so is he.
Yeah. As a man thinks, so
exactly. Yeah, speaking words of affirmation to yourself and speaking positive into existence, not negative. Because it comes to pass. You say, oh, I have a headache. Oh, I have a headache. How can you ever expect for that headache to go away if you're saying that?
Yeah.
You know?
We've learned to say it like this, and that's just the way I want it. I love to follow a pastor on TV named Stephen Furtick, and he tells the story of his grandmother who said something about y'all are driving me crazy or something like that. And that's just the way I want it, would be a statement that they would always follow with. And what we learned is that any statement that we make about ourselves, we need to be able to follow it. And that's just the way I want it. And if that statement is not true, then we need to make a new statement. And so what I love about having the people around me that I have, I'll say, something like, man, I'm an idiot. And one of them will turn and say, and that's just the way you want it, And it reminds me to say positive things about myself. I made a mistake, but I'm not a mistake.
You're not an idiot. You're not the things that you would say. And it's so unconsciously done that you say things like that to yourself all the time.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. And it keeps you accountable.
Yes, it keeps you accountable.
That's so
to
good.
yourself. Yeah. Because if you can't believe you, who else will?
Mm-hmm.
We put all of this faith currency into other people who we watch do things, and we believe that they can do it, and they can do it because we put our power and belief behind them, but we don't believe ourselves because we've told ourselves, hey, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to change my life. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to do something different. And then we never do. But we want other people to believe in us, but we can't believe in us because we can't believe the things that we say because we don't come through for ourselves.
That's okay. I have no words other than that. Just so good. That's what it is. And it feels like it's so simple when you say it, right? Like it's a no-brainer. But for some reason, we have such a hard time following through with everything that you say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
So
learn about what you want to say, and in doing that, knowing that the spirit that lives on the inside of you, that's telling you, hey, I'll never leave you. I'll always be with you. And it's not over until you win. And all things are possible for you because the I am is with you. Can hear you, whatever you say. When I was a little girl, we had a song, oh, be careful, little mouth, what you say. For the Savior up above is looking down in love. So be careful, little mouth, what you say.
I love that. And I really hope that everyone listening, that you speak what you seek.
Yes.
What was the second part?
Till you see what you said.
So you see what you said. Oh, amazing. So I got goosebumps. So good. Mignon, thank you so much for all the wisdom that you've given us today. Before we go, I want to give you a chance to hype yourself up. Where can we find you? Where can we learn more about you?
Yeah.
Hype yourself up.
I'm all over the internet. Come and find me in any one of my stores in historic Germantown in Nashville or in the historic Garden District in Uptown New Orleans. And then also on the CupcakeCollection.com. Follow there as MignonFrancois.com is on its way. And then you can catch me on Twitter at Cupcake Tweets, on Facebook at Cupcake Collection, on Instagram at Cupcake Collection, and Mignon.Francois
awesome.
on Instagram.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you. You are a true blessing to so many people. And God bless you and your business.
Thank you so much.
And thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, and that is a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I loved meeting with Mignon. She was so fun and so genuine and nice. So if you have not yet, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and leave a like so that I can make more content like this for you guys. And until next time, I will see you next time. Bye!